Hi. Um, I wanted to make a video today just to basically recap my life for the past 4 months. It's been about exact like 4 months since you last saw me, and I feel like in that time a lot of things have happened. I feel very I feel very liberated that school is over finally. I just got done with my freshman year of college. Um, I say that in quotations because technically I'm not labeled as a freshman, but it's still my first year in university. So, freshman year. What I want to do is I want to keep this kind of as a diary, I think. I think I've been kind of wondering what I want to do with this YouTube channel, but I feel like I just want to be really personal with my life and then how I feel about certain situations and certain things. And I feel like that's what is portrayed throughout the other videos that I posted here on YouTube. Um, so yeah, I mean, it has been difficult. It has been really difficult. I've struggled so much this latter half of the year. I feel like at some points I was drowning and trying to balance the work, life, school, relationships. It just got so much that it started piling on top of me, and I felt like I couldn't escape it. And I feel like in those ways, that's why I feel like I definitely underperformed what I expected myself to do for my classes, I guess you could say. I mean, like, as in, like, final grades. I'm so grateful though. Like, I would have. Alright, I was about to tell you a lie. I always knew that I would be here. I always knew that I was gonna get to college. I always knew that high school was gonna be the breeze of it. I guess what's happening now to me is that I'm finally understanding that it's kind of all too real. I always dreamt about getting to these predicaments when I was little. That when I finally reached those, I had such high expectations that I just ended up kind of not enjoying it. I feel like I'm not enjoying myself. I feel like in some aspects I am, but in other ways I'm not. Like all throughout high school, some people say that it's like their peak time in their lives. Like, but in reality, I really didn't have a really good high school experience. I wasn't really in too many clubs. I wasn't really associated with a lot of people. Stayed out of cliques. Stayed by myself, and I guess to my benefit, it's because I was chasing after girls that I kind of got my heart trapped in with um, one girl that ended up kind of breaking my heart. And that's kind of what my entire high school experience was. But going into college, I I met somebody else, somebody that I feel like understood me and liked me for who I was, where I felt like I didn't feel automatically accepted in my other relationship, I guess you could say. I feel like now those aspects of my life are good. However, I'm kind of losing purpose and what my overall goal is. I feel like overall, I've always dreamed of wanting to be successful and wanting to create businesses in a sense. Maybe not businesses, but create a business that I enjoyed, something that I valued. But I feel like now that I go more and more to college, that kind of straying away from that. I'm worrying too much about the money aspect of it, that I'm not actually studying or going into something that I actually like or that gives me joy. I think I put so much emphasis on wanting to have that momentary gain of graduating with a good job that I didn't account for my feelings and how I actually felt about the subjects that I was pursuing. For instance, I currently was, or I guess past tense, I was pursuing a degree in engineering, or at least trying to transfer into engineering. But even before that, I was trying to get into computer science. But my thought was, am I really going to be happy coding and sitting behind a desk all day? And I told myself, no, I don't. I was like, so what's the next closest thing that's a little more hands on? So I was thinking, why not electrical and computer engineering? And then I started to experience those classes hands on. And although it was fun, it wasn't something that necessarily piqued my interest. It was kind of like, okay, this skill is useful. I know I'll get a good job with this. Thus, I want to go for it. Not necessarily because I actually enjoyed the subjects as whole. Obviously, I found some type of enjoyment in it. There were some aspects of it that I enjoyed, but overall, the overall media of it, I just wasn't clicking with me. I think specifically, I went to an event where they were showcasing like the different sub paths that you can take within the major, and I honestly was just uninterested. I didn't care at all. I honestly was just aimlessly walking, but it's because I didn't feel any motivation to want to talk to anybody because I'm not passionate about those subjects. I'm really not. What I like, or at least what I think I like the art, I like culture, I like the psychology, the philosophy, how people work, the intricacies of the what they're able to create. I think at its core, I've always wanted to do things that involve people, but I feel like currently, as an economics major, I might not be able to do what truly interests me. I think it's that cliche of like every kid or like every person going into college, like they don't really know what they want to do for the rest of their life, you could say. And it's hard to put that on somebody to tell them, oh, in a few years, you're meant to know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. That's a really hard burden to put on somebody, especially when there's this person that's overthinking and has conflicted thoughts. In that sense, I wish the world was a little simpler when it came to the economics and the money aspect of it. But we don't live in that type of world. I feel like now my objective is to start kind of living for myself. I feel like I've been neglecting myself and my true interests. I feel like putting more time into that instead of worrying about all this stuff that could affect my future and my job. It's taking away my overall quality of life. At the end of the day, I feel like in some sense, all of this is kind of meaningless. We all kind of end up in the same place. But I could give my life meaning if I pursue the things that I actually love to do, the things that pique my interest. Maybe in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't have meaning to this overall world, but at least for my life, at least for my momentary living, my momentary being, I would enjoy myself to my fullest, use my potential in every aspect of it, of its capabilities. It's easier said than done. I feel like even now, trying to be as genuine as possible, I'm somewhat even lying to you. I don't believe that the words that I'm saying are true. I guess that's a really bad mindset to say, but I just feel like I'm so pessimistic when it comes to certain things like this that I just need to break out of that barrier. But it just seems so difficult to reach to reach the end goal of being happy and doing something that you're very passionate about. I just feel like it's almost impossible. at the end of the day, these are just my thoughts, and it doesn't relate to really what life itself holds. Life itself is beautiful. It's difficult though. It's very difficult. It's like we're playing a roguelike, like some Binding of Isaac, random generation. Every single seed that you go into, every person's life has different circumstances in which they grow up. They can go down different paths. I feel like right now I'm inside of one of those rooms where there's doors all around you that require a key, yet I don't have any. So I kind of have to work through the other rooms to try to figure out how I can open the latches. This is nice. I forgot what it's like to just even be outside. I've been so enclosed that I haven't even had time to appreciate myself and me being here. Although I know I don't get much traction, very little people watch these. I feel like, in some sense, if I'm able to relate to somebody, articulate somebody's thoughts when they feel like they can't describe them, I feel like I've done my job already. I remember when I was trying to apply to Rice University. One of the questions my interviewer asked was, um, "What type of change will you make to what can you do to like change the world in a sense?" Something along those lines. I know I'm saying the question wrong, but it's just what I remember. But I just said like a random answer of like, oh, I want to do big things. I want to make discoveries. And obviously, like everybody tries to say that. But what he told me, the advice that he gave me is that like, if you were able to make an impact in one person's life, if you were able to help them, give them advice in some sense, if you could just help one person, that one person that you affected, that one person that you helped already changed the world. Like already changes the world around you. By just doing that one act, you're already changing the world itself. And it made me think like, wow, like obviously everybody wants to make a big change. Everybody wants to do big, great things, but when you sit down and understand like how you can do that on a smaller scale, like where you're able to even do it starting today, it changed my whole aspect of it. I started realizing like, or I would say after that day, I feel like I started being a little nicer to people, started caring more about their opinions, their words, because I started realizing like the only thing I can do is kind of just help people out and support them in any way that I can. If I can just somewhat help the people around me, then I'm kind of changing their world and hopefully uplifting them so they can reach their highest heights. And I feel like I'm kind of succeeding in some sense to where I'm bringing them up. I feel like I'm putting myself down though. And I think the self-love aspect of these feelings that I have are something that I really struggle with. And I feel like now it's just trying to figure out how to replicate what I'm able to do for others for myself. I think that's about it. Thank you.